Starting Friday night, speaking of moving, and going through Monday Memorial Day, BAM is hosting the 40th annual Dance Africa Festival. Now, this is less than 2 weeks after its founder and guiding spirit, Baba Chuck Davis, passed away at the age of 80.
Well, 3 years ago, Baba was a guest right here on this show to talk about the festival. But today, we want to welcome Artistic Director Abdel Salaam here to tell us about this year's edition of the nation's largest festival of African dance.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good day to the Brooklyn audience and to whoever's going to see this program today. It's a pleasure for me to be here, not only to represent Dance Africa, but to represent the spirit of Baba Chuck. And I will say I had the pleasure, even though it brought me 3 sad days in a row, of seeing him on the last morning of his life. I was going to fly down on Monday. Yeah. I changed my flight to Saturday, spent the evening with him. Monday morning, I reached over to him and whispered in his ear. I said, "Brooklyn loves you, Papa." I used to call him Papa. Yeah. "Brooklyn loves you. New York loves you. Dance Africa loves you. The world loves you." I said, "And I love you. And don't worry, we got this for you. We got this."
So you sent him on with those best wishes, knowing that his legacy was so secure.
His legacy is secure and it's alive. And Norma Dean and Ngoma said that I didn't realize this. I was the last person to give him a hug. Dance Africa is 40 years old. I performed in the first Dance Africa, 40 years ago.
It's a baby.
Yeah, I was.
As a puppy.
I was 27 years old at that time, but getting ready to turn 27. And the spirit of it has continued to morph and evolve over these last 4 decades. Yeah. This year we are presenting a program entitled "The Healing Light of Rhythm, Tradition, and Beyond," and we're featuring our international company is a American-based group of Guinea artists whose founder has brought people from the Northeast and from the South and from the Midwest. His name is Mbemba Bangora, and their name is Wula Drum and Dance. And they'll be performing traditional works from the Guinea culture: Yankari, Makuru, Kankoba, Dunumba. Big audience participation, and the Jolly Musos will be playing kora and balafon. And so whoever needs that amazing traditional fix, they're going to get an amazing traditional fix. Yeah. The first half of the program, we start out with a memorial that was started by Chuck maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and I've continued in that tradition, honoring our ancestors, the people who've come before us, who've laid the way and the foundations for our life. And then we move into another work, a new work, which is not traditional, but moves into the beyond construct of the show. It's called, it focuses on the healing light of rhythm, right, but I call it the Healing Sevens. It's almost surreal, if you will, and it attempts to make a commentary through dance on gun violence, using contemporary work, hip hop, modern dance, and traditional, what we call neo-African dance forms. And I brought together Forces of Nature from Harlem, which is my own company. I've also brought together Illstyles for Peace, who's just an amazing b-boy company. Yeah. And then I've got this our Brooklyn-based company that these young men used to travel with me throughout the years, and the artistic director is someone who I'm in love with this brother, because he was my principal musician, and if it wasn't for him, Forces of Nature would not have had musicians for many, many, many years.
So Dance Africa continues to thrive and evolve. It's not a staid thing. You're always going to have something new and fresh and innovative.
Well, what Chuck told me to do over the years was to make sure that I followed my own voice. That whatever I did, not to attempt to be a carbon copy of whatever it was that he established and he established, but to look within and find whatever the importance of dance and music was, and to make sure that I presented a message that would incorporate healing and incorporate the coming together and the bonding of our community. Right. And this is something that I believe in. You know, I've attempted to do that for my entire life through the work of my own company. But what better thing to do than to continue that message through Dance Africa?
What better way than to see it? So we do have some footage of from last year, and let's go to that.
Yeah, that was Pop Moussa. The company was Wato Sita. They were from Senegal. And they were performing fisherman's dance that lasted since Balant. Amazing dance, amazing company, amazing energy. Let's remember, I was speaking so highly of the company's executive director because he's like a brother and a son to me, but I forgot to say the company's name, which was Asase Yaa, right? And Asase Yaa, Asase Yaa from Brooklyn.
They've been here several times.
And the artistic director was Yao Ababio.
Very cool.
I
So,
love the costumes too.
in addition to all this dancing and beautiful pageantry that happens, there's also a very real way that you're securing the future in Baba's memory, a fellowship program for choreographers.
Yes. We believe that this work has to be continued from generation to generation, and that African dance and music and the culture itself is not something which is stagnant, it's dynamic. And because it's dynamic, it continues to evolve and grow. We need to every year search for who possibly is going to be the next voice, you know, of the future. That voice may be a traditional voice, someone who's dedicated to preserving the traditions as they existed and keeping them alive, or it may be someone who has a vision, who understands that dance also can focus on social commentary.
Like this guy.
Ritual.
Yes. Well, that's Baba.
Yeah.
In the opening celebration, performing a ritual welcome.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what other community events are scheduled?
Along with Dance Africa?
Along with Dance
Well, we have the marketplace, you know. We used to have 300 merchants. I'm not quite sure if we're going to have any more. There's going to be a huge gathering in the evening of, it's kind of a party, right? That happens on Saturday night.
Kind of a party.
Kind of a party, you know. When I'm talking about the one that's upstairs, I'm talking about the one that's upstairs in you know, yeah. But then this outside, this is going to be an amazing gathering of just thousands and thousands of people who are coming to celebrate culture, to buy artifacts, to purchase clothing, to eat food, but also just to embrace the construct of family. I mean, you know, we're family. You know, we're family, and so the family is coming together in order to celebrate Baba's legacy, but a legacy of who we are as members of the African diaspora.
Well, it's a New York, Brooklyn tradition to me. When I first moved here, I didn't know about Dance Africa, and then one of my friends was like, "Hey, you got to get over here to BAM," and I've been here every year since.
You know, Dance Africa.
Start of summer.
Say it again.
It's the start of summer. That's how
it is, right? You know, it is, and the amazing thing about Dance Africa is also it's also a way for us who are committed to the culture and people who are not to get their fix.
Yeah.
You know, of what it means to be a person of the African diaspora. Again, there are things that flow within the construct of tradition, but there are also things that push the envelope, you know, and so my job is to do both, is to take the past and the present, because we would not have a future, of course, without those two, and to demonstrate that relationship. and how those things feed one another.
So how are we to get tickets and be in the building when all of this goes down this weekend?
Well, you definitely need to get your tickets now because the event has a tendency to sell out.
Yes.
And you can contact, bam.org,
Right.
all right, and call up our ticket office. But I think a good thing to do is also, if you live in Brooklyn, to simply go by and buy a ticket, and take a look at the seating chart, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right here. at
What's next on the horizon for you? I know this weekend is just going to be amazing, and it's taking a lot out of you. But looking forward past this weekend, what big things are on the horizon? Anything you want to share?
I mean, I have my own company, and we're preparing next year for our 37th year, Forces of Nature. I will be going to Africa again to select another company. This year, I'm looking at East Africa. We've focused a lot on West Africa in previous years, and I think that the audience should know and deserves to know that there's just amazing talent and much food for thought from the African continent in all of its regions and all of its parts. But I won't tell you what the company is because we have to secure them.
Just take us with you. We don't mind. We'll come and do the exclusive behind-the-scenes selection process.
Listen, we can get a person that has a that lives large, and could buy the tickets for us, and we can all fly first class.
You know a lot of folks. Well, much success this year. We're so happy to see Baba's legacy live on and be reflected
For another 40 years.
at least through you and all the folks at Dance Africa.
Yeah, and I also would just want to finish up with this, that Chuck believed in, and many of us who are a part of the culture, that African dance and music has its greatest gift centered in its ability to not only entertain, but to heal us as a people. If you will, it's kind of a cultural medicine, right? And as one of the things that we always say is that when something is in rhythm, right, it's at ease. If something is out of rhythm, there's a dis-ease that's attached to it. So we're trying to eliminate as much dis-ease as possible. We're making sure that we create a world, where people live in harmony, with the environment, with one another, and bring about this sense of universal harmony and rhythm. What better way to do it than through Dance Africa for these 5 days, and also in the construct of and the legacy of Baba Chuck.
Well, it's the healing light of rhythm, tradition and beyond, and it's now.
Bam.org. Don't
right.
get locked out. Thanks for coming by.
No, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
And we'll see y'all there, everybody. Make sure you come on time. We're
There
going
you
to start
go.
on time in Baba's tradition.